So you're listening to Radio Reverb 97.2 FM and radioreverb.com, and this program's also available on totallyradio.com as well. And joining me today, Freddy V, down here at the Brunswick.
Yes. Listen, you can hear the seagull.
Freddie, you're, I suppose, most commonly associated these days with the Average White Band.
Correct.
And how long have you been with them?
16 years.
Wow.
Yes. I've been with the band longer than the original band was together.
Amazing stuff.
Yeah.
So you grew up, your music career really started in the sort of small clubs in New York City.
Yeah, pretty much. It was really, and it was that was not done to earn a living. That was just done. I mean, I was playing other things to make money. I was playing, putting on a tux and playing weddings and private parties and that type of thing, and that paid the bills. But then, we would all, on other nights of the week, you'd go down and play to make, to actually make music, because that's why all of us got into it. None of us got into it to get rich. Yeah, at least I didn't.
And they were good times. You met some great people, and I know you played in lots of sort of house bands and different club bands.
Yeah, it was a great time musically. It wasn't a great time financially, but like I said, that wasn't really the goal at that point. And it was all about playing with as many different people as possible and trying to meet as many different people as possible. We used to have a semi-steady gig at this club in Greenwich Village called Preachers, and I got to play with a lot of guys through that, it's where I kind of began my long-standing relationship with very talented keyboard player, bass player, trumpet player, producer named Mo Pleasure, who was Mo played with Earth, Wind & Fire and Ray Charles and Janet Jackson and just pretty much about everybody.
What an amazing CV to...
Yeah, the most amazing, yeah. He was actually on the last Michael Jackson tour. He was the other keyboard player on that. And we knew each other. He was from Connecticut. I lived in Connecticut, and we met, in Manhattan. And eventually he ended up moving to Atlanta, as did I, and that's when we kind of started working on my CD. We both happened to be in the same place. My first real gig, road gig, which is where I kind of, cut my teeth, so to speak, was with a blues guitar player named Matt Guitar Murphy, who not many non-musicians know him, but he was a big influence on Eric Clapton. Played with Muddy Waters and people like that. An old black guy from Sunflower, Mississippi, who most people know as the guitar player in the Blues Brothers movie. He's the guy in the famous diner scene with Aretha Franklin. He plays Aretha Franklin's husband. But we toured. I toured with him for about a year and a half. All over the country. In a van and a Cadillac, paying my dues. I mean, that's where I really paid my dues, and that's where I learned how to kind of. Play for the crowd, kind of try to reach, because those people, they don't care. They paid, they're drinking, they don't care about, how well if you feel like playing or not. They came to hear, they came to party. So that was my first real road gig.
Quite a grounding then.
Yeah, very, yeah. Literally a Cadillac and a van. That's how we traveled the country. So,
excellent.
Paying my dues.
And so from that, you then moved on.
Then I came back off of that. Met my wife, got married, and spent a lot of time playing in the city and doing that, and trying to meet people to to kind of further my career, hoping to get some kind of tour. I auditioned for Joe Cocker, some other people, and nothing ever really came of it. And then I kind of gave up and was offered a scholarship to go back to university and get my degree to become a music teacher, and that's what I was planning on doing. And I was one semester away from starting to teach, and that's when I got the call from Average White Band. So
amazing stuff.
Yeah, it's when you least expect, when you decide you don't want something, that's when it comes to you.
And you've been a member now for
16 years.
16 years.
Yes.
Longer than the original
That's
members.
Correct. You heard that too.
Well, I mean, it's the incredible. They've got like a timeless quality about the sound.
Oh, absolutely.
And it's that mixture of moving jazz and soul forward into. I mean, you really predated a lot of the sort of R&B.
Oh, absolutely.
New soul type of thing.
Well, it's a band in the truest sense of the word, and there's not many around like that that are actual, guys that are playing their instruments and singing, as opposed to, there's Earth, Wind and Fire, Mint Condition, bands like that. But it's usually either four guys in jumpsuits or whatever, the Temptations, or it's one guy and a backup band. But this was an actual, cooperative band where, you have a couple of vocalists and everybody writes and that was the original concept behind the band. The original concept behind the Average White Band was they wanted to be the Detroit Spinners with instruments. That was their Detroit Spinners. That's what they thought. That's what their idea was.
And then you worked with Michael McDonald from Doobie Brothers.
Yeah, that was in the middle of my tenure with Average White Band. In 2004, we did a tour. It was called the Rock and Soul Review, and it was Hall and Oates, or Daryl Hall and John Oates, and Average White Band, and Michael McDonald. And Michael's saxophone player, in his intestine burst about 2 weeks before the tour. Yeah, and painful. And their tour manager called Hall & Oates' tour manager and Average White Band's tour manager, and Average White Band's tour manager picked up the phone and said, can your sax player do the gig? And they called me, and I would have done it for free because Michael McDonald's been one of my favorite, singer, musician, songwriters for as long as I can remember. And I started out just playing 3 tunes a set. They came out, and you can play, Taking It to the Streets and whatever the other, You Belong to Me, and something else that had saxophone in it. And then it grew to, I stayed out the whole set, played the whole set, did some gigs on the side. When the tour stopped, Michael had some of his own stuff. He asked me to do that, and then he asked me to play on the Motown 2 record, so I got to play a little thing on that. So
these are no doubt big venues, big stadiums.
Yeah, those because you have 3 bands, so whether any one of those bands could have filled it, but 3 of them could definitely. Yeah. So those are. I mean, really, just to be able to play with Michael that was it for me. So
fast forwarding along, I mean, Average White Band's still going. Loads of people that I talk to, and I say, because I've seen the Average White Band so many times now, and recently as well, and it's like, are they still going? I remember them; they were really good. There's always such a great fondness for the Average White Band, and that carries on. You pick up on that now, still from the
absolutely. I mean, and it kind of it's gotten to the point where it kind of spans generations because our audiences are probably 60-40, there's 60%, people that kind of grew up with the music. Yeah. And then there's a large percentage of people that either learned it from their parents or heard it on hip-hop records.
Yeah, you sort of got the Jamiroquai generation.
Absolutely. The woolly hats. The woolly hats, as we call them.
Looking down.
And so it's gotten to the point where it's really gratifying to look out and see young kids out there that are really enthusiastic about the music, because again, there's not many actual bands that go out and play. Right. I mean, even Jamiroquai is not a band. It's it's J.K. and a bunch of sidemen, and it almost doesn't matter who's what I mean. Yeah. So and people are kind of. They're taken aback by the just the power of an actual live gig. Yeah.
So just quickly, the gig you're doing tonight, you're looking forward to playing with these guys.
Yeah, absolutely.
Young upstarts.
Yes. This is going to be fun. We're just basically it was Phil Mulford put the thing together, and Phil's probably one of the best bass players in the city, I think, And I had given him my CD a couple of years ago, and he said we should put a band together. You come over early, and we'll do all the songs from your CD. So that's essentially what we're doing. We're doing almost everything from my CD, and then we're doing a couple of Joe's tunes too, Jo Harman's tunes, and we kind of adapted them, for this particular unit. But it's good. I'm really looking forward to it.
And you like Brighton? I've got to say that.
Yes, of
Brighton
course.
This
is the third time. I think the third time I've been here, and this is Probably last time the weather was pretty good too.
Yeah.
Well, the first time it was awful. It was pouring rain. But these last 2 times have been great. It's a great place. I wish I had more time to be here, you know.
Okay, well, Freddy V, thanks very much. It's been a real pleasure.
Thank you, Mark.
And you're listening to Radio Reverb 97.2 FM and RadioReverb.com.